Hello and welcome to Awkward Author. My name is Alyssa Grasso and this is my weekly vlog and podcast about my sometimes awkward, always awesome author life. Coming to you on an icy morning here in southeastern Pennsylvania. We had some ice overnight. It looks pretty out there right now with the ice on the trees, although I will say I did have a bit of a harrowing dog walk this morning because as we were walking, branches were falling left and right, and it's a pretty wooded area here. I mean, pretty, but also very. Mean that in both senses of the word, and so there's really no avoiding the trees, so, we tried to keep to the middle of the driveway, and, fortunately, we survived. We did not get hit by any fallen branches, but there have been quite a few. There have been quite a few falling. And on top of that, there is also, I'll warn you, there's some construction stuff going on outside this morning as well. So hopefully, there isn't too much background noise that gets picked up by the microphone here, but if it does, I do apologize for that. Yeah, I have to say it's been an interesting week. Like I said, I am done pretty much with the craziness of my day job stuff, so the idea is that I can focus a little bit more on writing and get caught up on stuff. Now, what happened, I think I might have even mentioned, I've been having some issues with my computer. I mean, it's 7 years old now, and it's, I guess, behind the times in some ways, so it has a little bit of trouble keeping up with things, we'll say that. And so last week, actually, when I was in the process of uploading last week's episode, definitely was experiencing some computer issues there, and I normally actually put together, it doesn't really matter, but I normally put a little, make a little thumbnail each week, two thumbnails, because I make one for YouTube and one for the podcast, because they're different sizes, of course. The YouTube is, like a movie size, and the thumbnail for the podcast is a square size. Really doesn't matter. There is like a default thumbnail I can use, but I just try to put one together each week, and I just use a graphics program on my computer. Well, I couldn't even open the graphics program last week, and that's an issue because I do use that for other stuff as well. I mean, the podcast thumbnail isn't that big a deal, but other stuff I do actually need this software. So, and that. The last time I was using that, I guess before this happened, I did have it quit out on me a couple times. Anyway, so, I uploaded last week's episode. I got that done. I didn't put the thumbnails on there because of the issues I was having. And then what happened? Last week, I was actually doing some writing. I think that was Friday, I believe. And, the computer had been, sluggish and, uncooperative, we'll say, but it seemed like things were working. I was in Scrivener and actually working on my book, and I wrote a couple of paragraphs, and they started working on a third paragraph, and it froze up. And I was like, oh, great. So, I waited to see if it would unfreeze, and then the whole thing ended up just like quitting out. Now, all that stuff ended up being saved when I opened the program the next time it was all there, but it's a little bit frustrating when you're trying to write and you can't write because the computer's not working, and also it's a little bit nerve-wracking when you're trying to work on something and your software just quits out on you. So obviously I need to do something about that. I mean, you can't at some point the whole computer might just seize up, and also you can't really work like that. It's just I can't work like that anyway. So I started looking into it. I don't want to have to buy a whole new computer because first of all that costs money, and it's not a purchase I was planning on making, and honestly I like my computer. It just needs a little bit more juice, I guess we'll say. So I've watched some YouTube videos, I've done some research. I have a MacBook Pro from 2012, right? So, I can add memory to it, apparently. I mean, it's something that can be done. When I say memory, I'm talking about like the operating system memory, not the storage memory, which I'm okay on. So, I've gone ahead and ordered memory, and I'm going to be installing that when that arrives, and my boyfriend has offered to help me. He used to run auto body shop. He's done a lot of, electronics work and stuff like that. So he just had that experience. But neither of us have taken apart a laptop and put in new memory. So we're not really, thankfully we have the internet. We have, a lot of different instructional videos and guidance out there. So I hope that we'll be able to do this. My computer's just going to stop working altogether. Who knows? But that is something I am planning on doing. And the last time I took apart a laptop, it was due to emergency circumstances. This was several years ago. I had my computer on the desk, and I also happened to be drinking a cup of tea at the time. I think you know how this is going to go. I also had cats at the time, and one of my cats, who I love dearly, decided to jump up on the desk, and my desk is only so big, only has so much room, and of course he decided to jump up right where the mug of tea was, so the tea tipped over, just a whole mug of tea spilled onto a laptop computer, which is not what you want to happen to a computer. So I ended up taking, everything apart and tried to, air dry it out. And anyway, the ending of that story is that I had to buy a new computer. Like it never stopped working altogether. I was able to power it back on and get it back up and running, but it was never the same after that. I think I sold that for parts on eBay or something. I had to buy a new computer, which ended up being a whole ordeal there because, well, anyway, I'm not getting into that. But so obviously, I'm a little bit nervous about taking apart a actually functioning sort of computer and putting some new memory into it, but fingers crossed that all goes well. Now, one of the reasons I'm telling you this is because what is it? It's like December 17th as I'm recording this. It'll be December 18th when I put this out. I am actually going to take a 2-week hiatus. So there will not be a new episode next week or the week after that. And it also happens to be Christmas and New Year's. So I have some plans. I have family coming up. I have, some cooking to do. I am going to be kind of busy with that stuff. So, and a lot of you will be busy as well. So I decided it's a good time to just, take a couple of weeks off. That's all. And then I'll be back January 8th with a new episode. And hopefully at that point, the computer will be working fine and I will be able to, upload it and upload the podcast thumbnail and all that stuff without any problems. But anyway, but of course there is always the chance that I might kill the computer completely, in which case, obviously getting a new episode out is going to be difficult. So I've decided to give myself that 2-week buffer. That's time to get the computer stuff done. We'll all do our holiday stuff, and then I'll be back January 8th with a fresh episode of Awkward Author. And since I am taking the time and since it will be a new year, that episode I'll go and do like a year-end review. I'll probably have my author income report, but I'll also do like kind of a year in review, looking back at 2019, what it looked like for me as an author, and then looking ahead to 2020 and what I want to do and what goals I have for, my books and writing and publishing, and all that, in 2020. So yeah, it'll be maybe a little bit longer episode, and that'll make up for, taking that 2-week break. And, hopefully at that point I will have a fully functioning computer that's just running like a champ and able to run all the programs that I needed to run and whatnot. But, anyway, so that's just my explanation of, you know, what I'm going to be doing over, you know, the next couple of weeks anyway. So yeah, like I said, you know, I had, you know, with the day job stuff kind of dying down, definitely my plan was to get back to writing and do a lot of writing. And I have, you know, I have done some writing, but there have been, you know, some technical challenges along the way that I have had to overcome. But I did a lot of writing yesterday. Everything seemed to be working okay, so that was good. And so I am making progress on the book that I'm working on. This was originally going to be the final book in a trilogy, and now it's going to be the third book in a 4-book series. I made that decision to... it's because I think it'll work better anyway, but I made some more work for myself, I guess, because, you know, originally it was like, well, I'm going to get the 3 books done, and then I'm going to work on getting the series out. Now I got to get 4 books done, and yeah, I'm only partway through writing the 3rd book. So word count-wise on this book, I think I'm at 32,000 words, which is pretty good, I think. I'm very happy with that progress. There's a lot of stuff I'm gonna, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there's a number of things I know I want to go back and change, and that was construction noise, if you picked up that big loud boom there. Yeah, it's a good thing that I can work with, you know, distractions, because otherwise I don't know what I would be doing here. But anyway, so 32,000 words, I'm happy with that progress, and there are things that I know I have to go back and change, because I've, you know, made some decisions along the way, and just some things I think, oh, that would work better, you know, if this happened, or whatever, just little things like that, or if that she didn't know this until later, you know, it makes for a bigger reveal later type of thing. So some things like that I've just kind of, you know, as I've gone along, made those changes. So I really have that 32,000 words. There is going to be some changes made, some stuff added to it, but that's basically almost, you know, the one storyline complete, and then I kind of got to go back and do the other storyline, which I guess, you know, a normal person maybe would write, you know, the chapters in order, but I'm going back and I'm doing one first and then the other set of chapters after, because I don't know, it works for me, or at least for this book, it's what works for me with it. Yeah. Who knows? And then the next book is going to be just a little bit different, in that it's really going to focus on this one character who goes through all 4 books. So it's really, it's all going to be focused more on his story, so it's a little bit different than the first 3 in that sense, although the others do connect with his story as well. So yeah, I am definitely happy with the progress that I've made on this book. And, you know, I do anticipate getting some more work done this week and next week too, although we have the holiday in there and some busy stuff going on, so I probably won't get as much work done next week. But yeah, I am really happy to be moving along with it. I'm really happy to be getting back into writing, because I just, for me, I don't know, it's something I do enjoy. I mean, obviously the ultimate goal is to, you know, earn a living, or at least a partial living from it, but I also enjoy it. And so it just, I'm happy to be able to get some writing done and work on this story. There's a lot of stories I want to write, and I don't want to write them until I get these ones done. So that's where I'm at with that. And yeah, I will, like I said, with the next episode that I put out, which won't be till January 8th, I'll talk a little bit more about my plans for 2020, including, you know, the book publication plans and what I would like to do, and we'll see how well I stick to those plans, because I know I do have a tendency of changing things and, you know, putting things off. Like I wanted this book to be done in October or something like that, and anyway, here we are in middle of December with it's not even halfway written with the first draft. So but I did go back and make some changes, and overall change the whole series, in the sense that it was originally supposed to be 3 books and now it's going to be 4. So yeah, that's what it's like. You know, you got to roll with the punches, I guess, and it depends on your style of doing things, and I'm not a good person with plans and schedules. I think I've said that before. It's not something that comes naturally to me. We'll say that. So, I think it is good when you're writing to have outlines, to have certain like plans and guidance in place, but it's also, depending on your style, for me, it's good to, have some flexibility too and be able to be creative about things. And if something isn't working, if you can see, that something's not working, or you find that you're just like, it painted yourself into a corner, or you're running into a wall or something like that, it's a good idea just to take a step back, take a look at things, and maybe see if your plan can be improved, or if it's time to maybe make some changes, which is what I have done, at least with this series. And it's the first time writing a series for me, so this is all a new experience. In some ways it's great, in some ways it's not so great. And I do still have a soft spot in my heart for standalone books, even though in business terms, it isn't always the way to go. Now, I do anticipate putting out some standalone books as well. I don't think I'll ever stop writing standalone books, but I do see the benefit in terms of, for marketing and business stuff and doing a series. So yeah, I am, trying the series out, and I do have some ideas for marketing it, and we'll see how all that goes. I might change my tune in another 6 months or whenever, after I experience the whole, putting out a series thing and seeing how that works. But, well, I'll keep you posted on how all that goes, of course. And, yeah, the only other thing that, writing-wise, that I need to get done this week, I guess, is to put out, the latest edition of my, email newsletter. I try to get that out monthly, but I don't always put out one every month. But, I do want to put one out now that, wish everyone happy Christmas, happy New Year, all that good stuff. So I had to get that done this week too. So that's something else on my agenda for the week. And so, yeah, I'm going to be pretty busy, I guess, but it's good busy, and I am happy about it. So as always, thank you to everyone who is listening or watching to my ramblings here. And I do appreciate all your feedback. I appreciate your birthday wishes last week. Thank you for that. And I hope you all have, if you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a Merry Christmas or happy whatever you celebrate. And I wish you all just joy and peace at what can be a pretty crazy time of year. And I do hope you have a Happy New Year as well, because I will not, like I said, I will not be talking to you until after the New Year. I will get the next episode out January 8th. So again, thank you everyone, and I'll see you again soon, before too long. And as of course, if you would like to know more about me and my books, you can visit my website, which is alysagrosso.com, ALISSAGROSSO.com, and or you can check out awkwardauthor.com. And so, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and see you guys again soon.